and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be covering another saint from the Isles, and that is Saint Maughold, who is celebrated as the patron saint of the Isle of Man and the second apostle of the Isle of Man after Saint Patrick. Although he also has links to Ireland thanks to Saint Patrick, as well as being believed to have been derived from the Dedunan hero Saint Maughold, who I've done a video on previously, or possibly adapted from the Bishop Mackay of Croghan, Count Offaly, who received Bridget of Kildare into religious life. No life of Saint Maughold survives, and all that we know of him comes from later traditions and legends. According to them, although Saint Maughold was an Irish prince by birth, in his youth he lived as a pirate and gathered a band of robbers around him. One local legend relates that Maughold tried to make a fool out of Saint Patrick. One day they came upon Saint Patrick as he was travelling and decided to set a trap for him. Maughold said, "This is the impostor that is leading the people astray. Let us see whether his god is strong or not." One of the robbers was ordered to lay in the middle of the road, covered with a cloak, pretending to be dead. Patrick came, placed a hand on the shroud and left. When Maughold and his friends opened the shroud, they found the man had died in the interim. One of Maughold's friends, a fellow named Connor, went over to Patrick's camp and apologised to him. Patrick returned and baptised all the men assembled. He then blessed the man who had died, who immediately returned to life, and was also baptised. Patrick then criticised Maughold, saying he should have been helping his men to lead good lives, and told him he must make up for his evil ways. As penance for his previous crimes, Patrick ordered him to abandon himself to God in a wicker boat without oars or a rudder. Padlocked to a chain, the key was thrown into the River Boyne. He was instructed not to remove the chain until the key had been found and returned to him. He embarked in the wicker boat, which drifted before the north wind towards the Isle of Man, where he was cast ashore at the headland still known by his name. He afterwards retired to a cave in the mountains where, by the austerity of his manners and fervent piety, he became so eminent that he was unanimously chosen Bishop of Man by the natives in 498 AD. Stranded on Maughold's head, he was shown hospitality by the bishop of the island and ultimately became a priest. On the eve of his ordination, a cook brought a key to him, which he had found in the belly of a fish which he had been dressing for their dinner. This was, of course, the key which was destined to release Maughold from his chains and bonds. He also may have made missionary journeys to Wales and Scotland, but he never returned to Ireland. And that is the story of Saint Maughold. He does have a few other stories attributed to him. I found this ballad written for him as well. I'll tell you the legend as well as I can of Saint Maughold, a pious old bishop of Man. This man, like his father, was profligate rather, or at least he had been in an earlier scene. If the sins we could fish up before he was bishop, he led his poor wife, it is said, a sad life. Would cheat her and beat her, and often ill-treat her, nay, threatened to kick her when he was in liquor. Though now a saint, yet he was once of bandity, the captain or leader as fierce as could be, in that island which More calls the gem of the sea. And wherever he went, he on plunder was bent, and after a few years began to repent. So they sent him afloat in a flat leather boat, in very rough weather, his hands tied together, with bolts on his feet, and no victuals to eat. So he sang while on waves he continued to ride. I'm afloat on the fierce rolling tide. At length he was thrown on an island unknown, or at least very few at that period knew. That where the boat ran was the Isle of Man, and Saint Patrick the Saint picked him up rather faint. Yet this man became, and believe it who can, a worthy respectable bishop of Man. Aye, and such was his fame, that he got a great name, when St. Bridget, an Irish nun, came to visit him, then lost her heart, say some folks, as a quiz at him, and soon took the veil, when she saw him so pale, with fasting so much of late, his follies to expiate. So thus he became, I believe it who can, worthy respectable bishop of Man. In Mona's fair isle, this saint lived for a while, where there now a farmed well, which contains, as they tell, a very fine spring, which the Manx sprite of Dirts use. on account of his famous medicinal virtues. But then don't you see that its efficiency to man's sons and daughters who drank these waters was chiefly enhanced that they tasted like paint by drinking them off in the chair of the saint? Not a modern stuffed chair, but a hard one and bare, which no one now to sit in would care, where the saint with hair shirt and all covered in dirt would repent his misdeeds and recount over his beads. So I've given the tale, as well told as I can, in verse of Saint Maughold, the Bishop of Man. Ooh, okay, so that was a bit of a tongue twister at parts, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video and thank you making it to the end. Please don't forget to share, like and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and also leave me a comment down below if you enjoyed the video or what you might like to see in future as well. Take care guys, bye bye.